Hi dear travelers, my name is Kurt Juergen Seitz and I'm a travel journalist. I did heaps of tours around the globe to capture exciting moments on photo and film. It was the year 2001 when I spent an entire year in Australia, traveling from south to north and from west to east. It was April and I just did a tour with my camper van from Adelaide up to Darwin along the 3,000 kilometer long Stuart Highway. We just reached Central Australia on our way to Ayers Rock. We were rumbling along the gravel road with its typical bumps when I saw in the distance someone standing at the road holding a hand. I slowed down because I was used to give a hand to other travelers who got stuck with their cars. I saw it was a young man with a bag beside him wearing a hat. So I stopped and he came up to my window and asked if we could give him a lift to Yalara, the settlement that is next to Ayers Rock. I had no problems to take him with us and we chatted along the route. His name was Lev and he told us that he just finished high school in Britain and wants to explore Australia by foot. It was nice talking to him and so we decided we'd take him with us for a few days. We travelled from Ayers Rock along the very remote Marine Loop Road to the Olgas and Kings Canyon and from there to Alice Springs. We camped out in the bush and every day we had nice encounters with wildlife and aboriginals. One week later we said bye to Lev. He was heading west. We continued our route up north. 4 years later I was living in Germany again. I got an email from Lev who told me that he just finished uni in Britain and wanted to do another trip. And he asked if he could come and visit. No problem, I said. I picked him up a few days later at the Deutsche Autobahn. He told me he was on his way to Afghanistan, overland, by foot. I told him he must be mad. He just laughed and said that's the opinion of his friends and family as well. He stayed a few days with us and then he left to go to Prague and from there to Poland and Estonia, where he hoped to acquire a visa for Russia. 2 weeks later I got an email and Lev wrote that he cannot get a Russian visa at the border and that he has to go back to Britain to apply for one. 1 month later he was in St. Petersburg and from there he hiked down to Georgia. To make a long story short, Lev arrived in Afghanistan 6 weeks later, unharmed, so everybody told him to turn back because it is too dangerous to cross all these countries. But Lev did it and even went from Afghanistan south via Pakistan to South India to visit a friend. I was very happy to hear finally from him when he arrived safely back in England. Then another few years, no news from Lev. In 2010 I spent winter with my little daughter in our house in southwest Florida when I got another email from Lev. He's in Tampa, Florida, to visit his Mexican girlfriend and he wanted to know where I am. I told him to hop into a car and drive down 2 hours to see. So he did. And he arrived with his girlfriend and we had a few relaxing days together doing boat trips and beach walks and barbecues. At that time, Lev just told me He just finished a 3-year military career as a major in the British Army, and that he was sent to missions to Brazil, Pakistan and Afghanistan. And that he is in the process to establish a travel company in England to offer exotic outdoor trips around the world. That was the last thing I heard from him for the next few years. Then, it was 2014 and I was living in New Zealand. A friend sent me a newspaper article about an English guy who traveled the lengths of the Nile by foot. And my first idea was, oh no, that must be Lev. And I was right. Lev published a book in Britain about his 6,000 kilometer long trip along the River Nile, and that book became very famous. You could see him in talk shows in the US and Europe, everywhere. The following year he did a trip along the Himalaya, and after that he became more famous. And finally, when I was in London in summer 2016, he emailed me and wrote that he is doing another trip in South America. Yes, that's the story how I met Levison Wood, and I really hope that Lev has always a lot of luck in his backpack. That's the only important thing what he needs on his dangerous tours around the world. Hope to see you soon again, and subscribe to watch my new travel videos here on YouTube. Bye.